Well, the photographs that we're going to be looking at right now deal with the Nazi campaign against people with disabilities. And this was something the Nazis were firm believers in. That is, they believed in the notion of eugenics, or what they tended to call race science. That is, the notion that you encourage those people that you believe are valuable to reproduce, while preventing those that you deem to be inferior or racially unacceptable from reproducing. And what we have to remember is that already in July of 1933, the Nazi regime, and by now it's a one-party state, pushed through a law for the prevention of hereditary illness to eliminate those that had such diseases as epilepsy, some types of congenital illnesses from being passed down in the German gene pool. Now, to do this, of course, it needed the cooperation of physicians, nurses, and lawyers in order to do this. And so you had kind of tribunals or committees of physicians that would review cases and carry out the sterilization of individuals. And you had about 400,000 Germans that were sterilized as a result of these laws. And of course, this also led to the deaths of thousands of individuals, particularly women, because the sterilization process was much more involved and led to many deaths. Now, what we see here in the first instance is a kind of an example of the propaganda that was used. That is, to call attention to these children that were deemed to be, have deformities or be mentally ill, etc. And essentially the caption says that under National Socialism, they will essentially prevent this life unworthy of life from being born. That is, you will prevent, children with disabilities or congenital illnesses from being born through sterilization. These policies help to pave the way for the so-called Nazi euthanasia program. Now, euthanasia in a European or an American context tends to be the notion of mercy killing. Well, in the Nazi case, that wasn't true. The Nazis, used euthanasia to eliminate those that they saw as detrimental or unworthy of life in the new Nazi Germany. The vast majority of these patients that were killed in this program were non-Jews. They were mostly Germans who were deemed to be, inferior because of whatever disabilities they had. And children were victims of this. One of the photographs that you see there, it was taken of a 4-year-old boy who was killed in one of these institutions, Kaufbeuren. But what's interesting about this photograph and about this case is that the boy was killed after the war in Europe ended. Now, we know that eventually the American troops learned about this and shut it down. But these physicians, the staff, the nurses, the doctors, were so dedicated to this task, to this mission to eradicate what they called life unworthy of life. Hitler's gone, Goebbels is gone, the Nazi regime has fallen, but these physicians who are imbued with these ideas of race science and eugenics are still firm believers in it, and they continue to carry out those tasks.